Sometimes, cruelty hides in plain sight, right between the rush of footsteps and the hum of the subway. That morning, a quiet tourist stood frozen as a group of men circled him, mocking his accent and shoving him toward the wall. What they didn't know was that Jason Statham was standing just behind the pillar, watching every second unfold. Before we continue, to everyone who's been following this series, thank you for the incredible support. You remind us that kindness still matters, even in a world that often forgets it. And to those joining us for the first time, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because stories like this one will remind you that standing up for what's right can change everything. The morning rush was just beginning. The station was alive with noise, the steady echo of footsteps, the mechanical hum of trains, and the faint chatter of people trying to wake up before their coffee did. Among them was Ravi, a young tourist from overseas. He'd come to London for the first time, backpack on his shoulders, camera slung across his chest, and a worn map folded neatly in his hand. He looked out of place, but in that gentle, harmless way that made people smile. Or at least most people. As he stood near the ticket machine, squinting at the map, a group of 3 men walked by, loud, laughing, and already looking for trouble. "Oi," one of them snickered, nudging the other. "You see this bloke, lost already." The second one smirked, "Probably doesn't even speak English." Ravi looked up politely. "I do, actually." That should have been the end of it, but for men like them, politeness was fuel. "Oh, do you?" the tall one mocked. "That's cute. Where you from then?" "India," Ravi answered, his voice calm but uneasy. The man's grin widened. "India, huh? You here to drive taxis or beg for change?" The others laughed, loudly, the kind of laugh that wasn't meant to be funny, just cruel. Ravi's face flushed. He lowered his eyes, gripping the map tighter. "I'm just trying to find the right platform." The tall man stepped closer. "Yeah, maybe we should help you find it. Might cost you, though." He reached for Ravi's bag strap, tugging at it playfully, but not enough to seem like a real threat. Yet. The laughter continued, echoing through the station. And that's when a voice spoke, low, calm, from behind one of the concrete pillars nearby. "Let go of the bag." The laughter stopped. The men turned around. Out from behind the pillar stepped Jason Statham, hands in his jacket pockets, expression unreadable, eyes sharp. He wasn't there as a celebrity or some action hero. He was just a man who'd seen enough to know when something wasn't right. Ravi blinked in disbelief. He recognized him immediately. Everyone did, but Jason's face said one thing clearly: not now. The tall man scoffed. "Oh, come on, don't tell me you're getting involved in this." Jason didn't move. "You heard what I said, let go." The man shrugged, trying to play it cool. "We were just having a laugh, mate. No harm done." Jason took a slow step closer. "Didn't sound like a laugh to me." The other two shifted uncomfortably. They'd seen enough of Jason's films to know that if anyone could handle himself, it was him. But the tall one, full of misplaced bravado, didn't back down. "Relax, big man," he said. "You don't need to play hero, we were just talking." Jason's tone didn't rise, but his words hit hard. Funny thing about talking, when you've got to surround someone to do it, it's not a conversation. It's cowardice. The man's smirk faltered. Jason took another step. The distance between them shrank to just a few feet. "You got 2 choices," Jason said quietly. "You walk away, or you find out how bad of a day you can have before 9 a.m. The station was silent now. Even the passing commuters had slowed, sensing something brewing. The tall man clenched his jaw. "You think you can scare me?" Jason didn't answer. He just looked at him, that cold, steady look that said more than words ever could. And suddenly it worked. The man's shoulders dropped. He stepped back, mumbling, "Whatever, not worth it." He turned to his friends. "Let's go." They backed off quickly, pretending to laugh it off, but the tremor in their voices gave them away. Jason watched them leave before turning back to Ravi. "You all right, mate?" Ravi nodded slowly, still stunned. I think so, thank you." Jason gave a small nod. "No need to thank me, just make sure you're safe, yeah." Ravi exhaled shakily, his voice trembling. "I didn't know what to do, they just..." Jason cut him off gently. "You don't owe anyone an explanation. Some people just look for targets. Doesn't mean you have to let them turn you into one. Ravi nodded again, his eyes full of gratitude. Jason glanced around. You headed somewhere? Yeah, the museum, but I keep getting on the wrong train. Jason chuckled softly. First time on the underground. Yeah, it's a maze. Come on, I'll show you. They walked side by side through the busy platform. Jason moved like someone used to command attention without trying. Ravi, still a bit nervous, tried to keep up. You handled that really well, Ravi said after a moment. Jason smirked, didn't do much. You stopped them, Ravi said quietly. No one else even looked up. Jason's eyes flicked around the station, commuters glued to phones, earbuds in, eyes deliberately avoiding everything that didn't concern them. That's the world now, he said. Everybody's watching but nobody's seeing. Ravi frowned. You think it'll ever change? Jason shrugged. Only if more people decide to stop walking past. They reached the right platform. Ravi was still visibly shaken but steadier now. Jason handed him a folded tube map from his pocket. Keep this. Circle your route before you go anywhere. That way, if you get lost again, you'll have something to point to. Ravi smiled shyly. Thank you. Jason nodded once. And next time someone tries that, don't shrink. You stand your ground. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Ravi took a deep breath, nodding. I'll remember that. Jason clapped him lightly on the shoulder. Good man. Enjoy the museum. The train doors opened. Ravi stepped inside, still looking back at him, unsure how to express what he felt. Jason just gave a simple nod, a silent, you're all right now. The train pulled away, and he turned back toward the platform, expression unreadable again. But the story didn't end there. Because one of the men from earlier hadn't actually left the station. He stood at the top of the stairs, glaring down, humiliation burning hotter than reason. You see him, he hissed to the others. That bloke made a fool out of us. We can't let that slide. The others hesitated. Mate, it's Jason Bloody Statham. I don't care who he is, the tall man snapped. He embarrassed us in front of everyone. He cracked his knuckles. He wants to play hero. Let's give him something to fix. Jason was heading toward the exit when he heard the footsteps behind him, fast, deliberate. He sighed, didn't even turn around. Let me guess, he said. You picked option 2. The tall man growled. You think you're better than us, just cause you're famous. Jason turned slightly, his eyes cold. No, I think I'm better than you because I know when to walk away. That only made the man angrier. He lunged. Jason sidestepped easily, no showmanship, no slow-motion theatrics, just precision. The man stumbled forward, nearly hitting the pillar. Bad idea, Jason muttered. The other two froze. They hadn't expected him to move that fast. Jason stepped closer, his tone calm but razor-sharp. You came here looking for trouble. I'll give you one chance to decide if that's really what you want. The tall man turned around, breathing hard. You're lucky there are cameras here. Jason smirked. You're lucky there are. The man hesitated, then spat on the floor and stormed off. The others followed, muttering curses under their breath. Jason watched until they were gone. Then he looked up, the camera above the pillar still blinking red. He shook his head, half amused. Guess that'll make the news. Hours later, it did. Footage of the incident spread online, not for the fight, but for the still frame that captured Jason stepping between the bullies and the frightened tourist. People began sharing it with captions like, if you see something, say something. Be the person who doesn't look away. The comments flooded in. Some people joked, others praised, but a few said something that stuck. You don't have to be Jason Statham to do what he did. That evening, Jason sat quietly on a bench by the Thames, watching the water move. His phone buzzed nonstop. Reporters, PR teams, social media managers. He ignored them all. Because to him, it wasn't a story about him at all. It was about a scared tourist who didn't deserve cruelty. About a world that needed to remember that standing up didn't require fame or fists, just a bit of decency. He took a deep breath, looking out over the dark water. Somewhere in the city, Ravi was probably walking through the museum, smiling again, feeling safe. That was enough. And behind all the noise, one quiet truth remained. Sometimes, doing the right thing isn't about being seen. It's about being there when someone else needs it most. 2 days later, the city had moved on, as cities always do. The headlines were old news. The photos had been shared, retweeted, and forgotten by breakfast. But not by everyone. Jason sat at a quiet cafe near the station that morning, reading a script he wasn't really interested in. The hum of the city was background noise now, until a voice broke through it. "Excuse me, sir, is this seat taken?" He looked up. It was Ravi. Same jacket, same worn backpack, but something was different. His posture was straighter, his eyes clearer. Jason smiled faintly. "Not anymore." Ravi sat down carefully. "I wasn't sure if you'd remember me." Jason chuckled. "Hard to forget a bloke who almost got himself mugged under my nose." Ravi laughed nervously. "Yeah, that's fair." Jason folded his script and set it aside. "So, you find your way to the museum?" Ravi nodded. "I did, and a few other places too. I've been walking a lot, thinking." Jason leaned back, studying him. "Thinking about what?" Ravi hesitated, then said softly, "About how that morning changed me. You didn't just help me, you showed me something." Jason raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" "That people can care, even strangers." Jason nodded slowly. "That's good to remember." Ravi looked down at his hands. "I used to think if people were cruel it was just how the world worked. But you didn't have to do anything. You could have just walked past. Everyone else did." Jason's tone softened. "I've walked past before, didn't like how it felt." They sat quietly for a while. Outside, buses rolled by. People hurried past without looking up. Then Ravi pulled out something from his bag, a small envelope, neatly folded. "I wanted to give you this." Jason frowned. "What's this?" "Just open it." Inside was a postcard, a photo of the British Museum, and a note scribbled on the back. "To the man who reminded me that strength isn't loud. Thank you for seeing me." Jason stared at it for a long moment, then set it down carefully. "You didn't have to do that." Ravi smiled. "Neither did you." Jason exhaled quietly, that rare mix of humility and pride showing for a second. "You all right now? Got somewhere to stay?" "Yeah," Ravi said. "A small hostel near Paddington, cheap, but it's enough. I also met someone from the tourism office. They offered me part-time work translating for visitors." Jason nodded, impressed. "Look at you, not bad for a bloke who couldn't find platform 2. Ravi laughed. "Guess I needed better directions." Jason smiled faintly. "We all do sometimes." Their conversation drifted naturally. About travel, about home, about the small things that shape people. But then Ravi's expression shifted. His voice went quieter. "Can I tell you something? Something I didn't say before?" Jason leaned forward. "Course." Ravi hesitated. "When those men surrounded me that morning, I wasn't just scared. I was angry that it was happening again." Jason frowned. "Again?" Ravi nodded. "Back home, it happened all the time. People treating me like I didn't belong, even in my own country, because I was poor or spoke differently or didn't fit in. I came here thinking it would be better, and for a moment it was." He paused. "But then you showed up, and for the first time in a long time someone stood with me, not against me." Jason was silent for a long while. Then he said quietly, "You ever think maybe the world needs more people like you, not less?" Ravi blinked. "Me?" Jason nodded. "You kept your head up when 3 blokes tried to take it from you. You're here now, starting again, smiling about it. That's not weakness, mate, that's resilience." Ravi smiled faintly. "You sound like someone who's been through it." Jason smirked. "Maybe." Just then Jason's phone buzzed. A message from his assistant, "Meeting at 1 p.m. Don't be late this time." He sighed. "Duty calls." Ravi grinned. "Hollywood business." Jason rolled his eyes. "Something like that." He stood, dropping a few bills on the table. "You take care of yourself, yeah?" "I will," Ravi said, standing too. "And thank you again for everything." Jason gave a small nod. "Don't thank me, just pay it forward." Ravi smiled. "I already did." Jason paused. "Yeah." Ravi nodded. "Yesterday, There was a kid at the station lost, crying, no one stopped. I helped him find his mum. Jason smiled. See, told you. Ravi grinned. Guess I'm learning from the best. Jason shook his head, amused. Nah, you're just doing what people should. They parted ways at the corner. Jason watched him go, the nervous tourist now walking with purpose through the same city that once made him feel small. It was a quiet victory. But it wouldn't stay quiet for long. That evening, Jason's publicist called again. Jason, that video's gone viral again, 10 million views this time. Everyone's calling you a hero. Jason sighed. I'm not. Well, people seem to think so. You should make a statement, maybe tie it to one of your charities. He was quiet for a moment, then said, no, the point wasn't to make noise, it was to make people notice. Jason, this is PR gold. He hung up. Sometimes silence was louder. Weeks later, Jason was at a small charity event, a fundraiser for a program that helped refugees and tourists who had been victims of street violence. He was walking through the hall when a familiar voice called out, Mr. Statham. He turned. Ravi stood there, dressed neatly in a volunteer vest, handing out leaflets with a proud smile. Jason blinked, then laughed. You're kidding me. Ravi grinned. Told you I'd pay it forward. Jason shook his head, smiling wide. Didn't think you'd take it this far. Ravi shrugged. You inspired me, and maybe someone else out there needs to see it happen too. Jason stared at him for a long moment, then clapped him on the shoulder. You did good, mate, real good. Later that night, as the event wrapped up, Ravi walked up to the mic for a short speech. He was nervous, but when he spotted Jason in the crowd, calm, steady, smiling, the words came easier. He said, a few weeks ago, I met someone who reminded me that courage isn't about fighting. It's about choosing to be kind, especially when no one else will. The room went still. Jason lowered his head slightly, not out of pride but humility. For him, it wasn't about applause. It was about knowing that one act, one moment of choosing to step forward instead of turning away, had rippled into something bigger. When the night ended, Jason walked Ravi to the door. You did well up there, he said. Ravi smiled. You taught me how. Jason chuckled. Nah, you just needed reminding. They stood there for a second, two men from different worlds, bound by one moment of courage in an underground station. Jason put a hand on his shoulder. Keep doing what you're doing, Ravi. You'll make the world a little less blind. Ravi nodded, eyes bright. You already did. Later, as Jason walked through the quiet London streets, a train rumbled somewhere beneath him, that familiar underground echo. He stopped for a second, listening. Somewhere down there, another stranger might need help. Another voice might be mocked, another kindness ignored. But maybe, just maybe, someone would remember the story and decide not to look away. Because real strength isn't about being feared. It's about being the person who stands up when no one else does. And in that truth, Jason Statham walked on. Not as an actor, not as a fighter, but as a reminder that decency still wins.